What is going on, guys? Ryan here with another episode of the Dent Digest live show. Thanks for joining me. So, I hope you guys weren't too upset about the show last week. A lot of cussing last week, but that is Neil. So, it's what he does, and he's funnier than hell. And a lot of guys called me and said, "Man, this was just a perfect show." And it was really good. So if you missed that one, go back because you were going to laugh. I mean, he did the intro music. He did all this stuff. So it was a really good show. And he's a really good tech. Has been doing it 20 years and telling you his struggles with doing it in Ireland. So, but if you guys missed it, make sure you check it out. If you haven't heard the news, they did cancel MT Vegas. Hopefully we can get it in January. We'll have to see, what happens. So I want to get into this with the A1 family, get them on and really get into their story, because I don't want to run out of time tonight and keep them up all late. And, old people have trouble sleeping. What is going on, guys? How are you?
Hey, Ryan.
Look at her face. She's like, you just called me. She's like, you just called me old.
I think you did.
Hey,
you called me old.
I wanted to start you upset.
Hey, there's not going to be as much cussing this week.
No.
At least on this end of the mic.
It was, you know what, and I expected it. I actually had Neil was on hold to do the show for a couple weeks. And it was just, I was like, I needed something to spark these guys and get them kind of wound up and, going. And he was just, and that's the way they talk there, in Ireland. They're very open and very cuss worthy is what I call it. He when he was talking, he was like, I want another double jammy. I'm like, what is a double jammy? You need to speak English. This is an American show. So anyway, I don't know if everybody knows who you guys are. I hope they do. I mean, Maria's on Facebook every week. So anyway, let's get into how you guys started. I know I had Mark Blem on, I guess it was last year, and talking about Jerry and how you guys acquired the business from Jerry, bought the business from Jerry. And what year was that? And kind of get into all that, John.
Yeah, 2000. Jerry came into my law office. I was practicing law at that time and did a lot of business formation, creation of partnerships, corporations, LLCs, whatever it may have been, and transfer of those same entities. And Jerry came in the spring of 2000 and had a buyer for A1 Tool. And he gave me a little bit of background, what that was and what they did. And that deal fell through. I think the acquirer could not get financing to buy the business and kind of went by the wayside. So about 6 months later, the same thing happened. And this would have been, I guess, about August of 2000. And again, the buyer could not get the financing. And at this point, I had seen a lot of the inside, the books, and I had been to the location and looked it over and said, wow, this is so neat what he's doing here. And I kept telling him, I don't think you're asking enough money for it, and which made it really hard to negotiate.
I'm sure you set yourself up there.
I really did. And so I said, hey, if you really want to sell it, I'm interested in buying it. And so that's kind of how it developed.
And did you have any clue about Paintless before then?
No, I really didn't. The thing that did give me some comfort, when I walked into his shop, I could recognize every piece of equipment that he was using. I had an agricultural background, grew up on a farm, was in FFA, participated in mechanics and various things. And so there was a comfort level. I'd never seen the equipment used quite like he was using it, but I said, okay, I get it. I know what he's doing. And that just piqued my interest even more.
Now, did you inquire the employees and everybody, or
Well, we did, but at that time it was just about 3 or 4 people. Mark, I believe, actually was finishing up. Maybe he was a junior, and he was going back to school in the fall. He was there, maybe dipping handles and doing some other things. Jerry's older son, Mike, was there with us. Chris Presley, who's still with us today, and one other shop employee and some secretarial help. So it was a pretty small bunch of people.
nice? So you just got into this business, and I'm going to figure this out.
Well, I did, I look back and I think, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. But PDR was really pretty young at that point. I mean, he had been doing it 9 years, but so many of the tool manufacturers that are with us today, and some really good ones, they had not yet even begun. So if I would have known what I really didn't know, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I guess ignorance was bliss and worked to our advantage.
Now, Maria, now you're kind of in there, and you're doing social media and doing your thing now. You didn't know much about Paintless either in the beginning, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, I was just a third grade school teacher. And when he bought the business, I tried to help out a little bit, but we didn't work out very well together. We did go on the road selling tools, and that we did do well together. And so
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. But then we started having children, and I stayed home. And then when they got old enough to, they were all in school and everything, um, we started looking at our internet and our website and stuff like that. And I just started questioning things, I don't know. I was like, well, what's this guy doing with our website, and what's SEO? And anyway, it was just like, we kind of figured out he wasn't doing anything. It was like one and done, but we thought he was doing a lot of great things, but no. So then, it was just kind of like my quest to find out, what is this social media? And I hadn't even been on Facebook very long whenever I started doing it, and I'm like, man, there's a lot to this, and so just kind of jumped from there.
So we're having issues with the comments. So I'm trying to read the comments and questions off of my phone.
Okay.
So bear with me, guys.
Clicked here, and I can see the comments now.
See, I can't see anything. It's all good.
Okay.
So did you guys start with a tool truck right off the go?
No, I think we worked out of the back of my pickup truck. Had a tonneau cover the following spring, and so that had been April of 2001. We went to a little storm. It was April the 10th down in Hartfield, Missouri, which is a real little small town. And Jerry Powell had set up down there, and he had fixed half of a Suburban. And I mean, he really glassed half of it, left the heavy damage on the other side of it. And that was really one of the first times that I had seen what Paintless could do. And that first image, just kind of blew me away. It still does in a way.
I still have some of that Jerry Powell set that you guys had out for a long time.
Right.
That's still a really good set.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Well, that tool truck till about Marvin. I call him Marvin.
Yeah. Well, so from that, we went to an Isuzu cab over and a box truck and did that program for a while. And then Maria's dad drove the tool truck for several years for us, especially when our kids were small. And then his health didn't allow that to happen. And so we kind of got off the road there for maybe 4 or 5 years and didn't really get back out there until last year.
Yeah, I saw you guys just hitting the road. And you took one of your daughters with you just recently, didn't you?
Our oldest daughter has gone with me a couple different times. And so I was telling her, hey, this is a pretty hot car for a 15, 16-year-old. And maybe next summer you can take your sister out on the road. in this thing. But
So you guys obviously had tools that uh, they built originally, that you had originally tool designs. I think are losing power too. We're doing good over here at the Shutt household. When did you start coming up with the idea of having techs kind of work with you to build some tool ideas and slowly bring those out? How did all that come about?
well, something that we've always done is we've always built custom tools. And kind of how that works is a tech will call us and say, hey, you know that tool, XYZ tool that you build, if you made that a little bit longer, or the tip had more length in it, or a different angle, or whatever it may be. And so we had done that, and Jerry used to do it before we bought anyone.
Okay.
And so I think it was really through that we started paying attention, and what would work for one guy, or a need for one guy for a particular type of tool probably would work for another one. And
Yeah.
so that's maybe how we kind of got into it. But it's really been over the last 4 or 5 years that we have really embraced other designs from technicians, and I think it's been a great thing for us.
Mm. Yeah.
Now, if you have a customer that just calls off the street and says, I want this tool to look this way, to do this, are you guys doing that? Onesies?
We were up until about 3 months ago, and we have been absolutely slam busy.
Yeah.
And so we do kind of shut that custom tool thing down when we are as busy as what we are right now. But we'll open it back up again probably September, maybe October, and take it all the way through March or April of next year.
And I love that everybody's busy. Everybody talked to Chad from Endeavor and all those guys. Everybody's busy. And I'm like, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
And everybody's slammed.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
we as an industry, we are very, very blessed, and we were talking about this before
Yes.
we went on air, but it's true, and it does seem like everybody has really weathered this thing very, very well.
Yeah, it's we're not through it yet, and I don't want to toot anybody's horn, but it's kind of nice to sit back and feel like our business is kind of pandemic proof. And business on my end has been very different too, just because I really wasn't expecting the retail side to be, my retail was booming. The dealers and stuff were kind of slow here, but the retail rocking. And I would have never thought, but on the other end, people were staying at home, hey, let me get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, every prediction that I've made about COVID has been absolutely wrong. And so I've just quit making them. But I did not see the response and the uptick, honestly, that we've experienced this year. There was a time late March, early April, where we said, hey, if we can just break even this year, that's a win. And so.
Hey, you guys got to be doing better than breaking even. You guys do a really good job. So, and I think in our business, it's nice for one, because it's a lot of small family businesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's people that just care. You have the industry of guys that think that all the tool manufacturers make so much money. And there's not that much money in this business. There really isn't. We're making such a small amount that you're not making that much profit off of it. If you're making 300,000 of them, okay, that's different. But you're making handfuls at a time, and the profit's not what everybody thinks it is.
No, it's really not. And you're absolutely right. I mean, we cannot achieve that economy of scale of thousands. I mean, as far as tools go, if we sell 1,000 of a particular tool annually, that's a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them that would be in the 50s and 60s, or even less. I'm not going to lie. I think it's been a very good business for us and for a lot of people. And I look around the community that we live in this area.
Mhm.
And I think we've been, really blessed to
Yeah.
have the opportunity to do what we do and to live a pretty nice life from it.
Yeah, it's the other thing I really like is with a lot of the companies out there right now working with the individual techs, and I'm going to bring one guy up that's in here right now, John Vidine, the Dent Reaper, and how you guys work directly with the tech, do the prototypes, get the tool, and help him market it and sell it.
Mhm.
And John Vidine. I don't know. He's a weird guy.
No, I love him.
Yeah,
We
John.
love John.
John is really.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he really
He
is.
is.
And he really did come up with some unique things. He is great to work with.
He's awesome.
And yeah, I mean, I wish all of our, I've got a spider on my leg here, but I wish all of our, people that we've worked with would be as accommodating and easy to work with as John.
You got a tarantula there.
Yeah,
I think
he's
was a
dead
brown
now.
recluse.
He's dead.
So you guys live out there in the woods.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, I tell you, it's nice to just the techs can do that. You know what I mean? The techs can bring and that's what I have Shane, and he's a new tech into the industry with me, and I explained to him, I said, it wasn't always like this. It wasn't always guys like James Lee that came out with the Illuminant light. I used a plastic board with a spray painted line for 10 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I said he brought that because he made it himself and then brought up stuff like that to market. And it's nice that guys that find a need and a niche, perfect example, that the Revolution, or the Declaration, that is a great tool.
Mhm.
Yeah. And just to be real honest, I'm not capable of thinking all that stuff up, and that it's opened up. And I think social media has played a part in it. We've already talked about the custom tool building that we do. I don't know, but it does seem like there's been this evolution in the industry where a technician finds a particular thing that really works, and then they have an avenue to bring it to market. And we love to try to help them do that. And there are other tool companies that are helping techs do that as well. So
yeah, I mean, I think, and I go back to it. I feel like I'm the type of guy that would rather deal with a small family business than a corporation.
Absolutely. And, I think one of the things that we share with our customers is that most of them are business owners.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some that are employees of another technician or something of that nature. Or maybe they work for a dealership, or maybe they're in an assembly plant or whatever. But the majority of the people own their own business and run their own business. And so I think we have that in common. And it's a different relationship when you're dealing with a business owner than if you're dealing with an employee.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
To the extent that the owner does.
And it needs to be profitable for everybody.
Sure.
Some of this stuff may not be worth bringing in the market.
I agree.
And that's a chance that sometimes you need to take, and they fail. You know what I mean? I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there that I know of that didn't make it,
Yeah. Well, and just like I was saying about my predictions about COVID, I could say the same thing about tools. People will bring us things and I'm like, I don't know. But okay, we'll try it. And it goes to gangbusters. And then, every once in a while, I think we have something that's a can't miss. Lukewarm reception. So again, I guess I need to quit.
Hey,
my crystal ball is off.
It's off.
Your bad prediction on the Dent Reaper, it did pretty well.
Well, it really did super well. And, and maybe that was an easier one than some of the others that have been brought to us. And really, John kind of gift wrapped that. He said, here it is. Do you want to make it type thing? And, absolutely. Sometimes it's not that easy. Somebody has a concept, but he brought us more than concept. He brought us
tools. Yeah. So if you look at the business right now, what is your number one selling tool?
Um,
If you had to pick one and you would sit back and you would say, okay, this is it.
well, I'm going to go with a line, and that would be the Excalibur. This year has just been phenomenal, and we have sold a ton of it, and it is unique.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about selling that, I bet we have had, no kidding, 30 texts that will pick up the phone or send an email and say, "Hey, I don't usually do this, but I want you to know that's kind of revolutionary type stuff." And a hood that was taking me half a day, I'm knocking out in 2 hours or whatever it may be. And I mean, we've heard that time and time and time again, and that's pretty gratifying.
Yeah.
And Richard's just the nicest guy with a ton of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 30 years, and he's great to work with as well. He has a ton of ideas. I have a hard time keeping up with Rick and his ideas. We got some new stuff coming there. So
Look at that smile. Look at them
yeah,
little chuckle back there.
yeah. Well, and I love when somebody brings me something that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And so he's done it again, and we're looking forward maybe in the next week or two to roll out some more stuff there.
And I see you just had a new logo, your logo refreshed a little bit, a little rebranding going on that Jesse did for you guys. So get into that process. So you were trying to get a logo, you were having issues.
Oh, me. Yeah. So we were just gonna wrap our van, and it was just this nightmare in our logo, and it, we're like, just let's freshen it up. Let's make it more simple, more bold. But no one could really understand what direction we were going. And I'd have to draw something out, then John would draw something, and we'd hand it to them, and it was still miss. And it's like, it's not cool enough. It's not, I mean, we couldn't communicate effectively what we needed. And I kid you not, we were on the road, and I get this messenger message from Jesse. He's like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And it's the very one we're using. I mean, I didn't give him any other thing. I mean,
I don't even think we didn't even know he's working
we
on it. We
didn't
didn't
know
ask
he was
him.
working on it.
Yeah. So
The,
therefore, we don't owe him anything.
The rights are gone, Jesse. I'm sorry, buddy.
I mean, what you see is what he did. Like, we saw it and we were like, yes, this is it. It's a little more clean, a little more modern, and yet it's got the cool factor. And we were like, this is it. This is exactly it. So I didn't say, hey Jesse, we like this, but why don't you tweak that? No, we were just like, yep, that's it. Thank you. And I
It's
mean, I messaged him quite a bit about, how do you do this? Do you do this? I mean, is this
he's
something?
really good with that. I mean,
Oh
he is
yeah.
just
And he gets it. And I think that's the thing is,
yeah.
I think sometimes the best thing is to work with people within your industry
Hmm.
who understand your brand and who understand, what's out there, who's the audience, what's the target. And
Yeah.
I mean, we just loved it. So we're like, yeah, let's get our hats and t-shirts made. Let's move forward with this. So
And it's super clean. It definitely cleaned it up. It's
yeah,
definitely got a nice clean finish.
Yeah.
yeah,
It looks good.
thank you.
Thank you.
We
And
love
that is tough in our industry. In our industry, to where I've worked with other graphic guys to do different stuff, and it just wasn't
It's
what I
always
was
the
looking
same.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
right.
Yeah. And this same issue has arisen time and time again. Maria mentioned our social media or our website or whatever. And when you're dependent on other people to do that,
They
that
can't
don't
do it.
understand,
No.
it's, I mean, you have to educate and educate and educate, and they still don't get it. And that's why I'm so happy, Maria's taken this over and really, brought us to another level that I could have never done, or I couldn't have hired anybody to do.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
I remember we had some people that did our Facebook to begin with. And so, like, the first day of spring, they would put flowers on there and wish everybody a happy spring. And, it's not that PDR guys don't like flowers, but
It's not relevant.
They
it's
want the
not relevant.
tools,
Yeah,
right? They want
yeah,
to see the
yeah,
tools
yeah.
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
see,
so
this is why I can work well with John now, Ryan. See, because he doesn't know anything about social media. See, he's not on it, so
that's even better. That works out perfect.
perfect.
He's a smart man. That's the thing. He's the smart one.
I know.
Life was a lot simpler when you didn't have Facebook.
Yeah. Well, whose face would you rather see on Facebook?
Oh, you're so true. I don't know. The beard does look pretty good.
Oh, don't tell him
What
that.
can I say?
How long is this going to get is what I want to know. He's gone rogue on me. I keep thinking.
Get himself a little Amish beard. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
At least he can grow it. I mean, some of us can't grow beards. I sat home for 7 weeks and didn't shave and still couldn't grow a beard. I look like a homeless guy.
Yeah, but you had the hair. You had
I
nice
do. I do have hair. I do have that. I had me a little mullet going on before.
hair.
So in the business, where do you see it going? In the A1 business, what direction do you guys see the business going?
Well, I've already touched on this tonight. I think it's going to be very tech driven.
Mhm.
I think the techs have the ideas, and yet they don't have maybe capability to manufacture, or to drop it into a channel, nor the time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. And so if
Yeah.
you're trying to drop one or two products, even if they're the greatest thing ever, into this industry, uh, there's too much overhead to do that. And so I think it's going to be driven by where the techs take us.
Mhm.
And so we solicit help,
Mhm.
and bring us ideas, and we want to work with people that have great ideas,
Mhm.
and see if we can't make a partnership that works for both of us.
Yeah.
And you guys are easy enough to talk to. That's the other thing is I feel like a lot of the manufacturers you can just walk up to and just have a real conversation.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're all very, very simple, and I would say this about the fellow manufacturers, and I've really gotten to know them much better. Of course, I've always known the Blems very well, and they're great people.
Yes.
Um, but getting to know the rest of them, they're great.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to sell tools, as they are, to the same audience, and so we're competitors by definition. But it's really a very nice group of people
Mhm.
to compete with.
And I say this all the time. A lot of guys don't realize how lucky we are in this industry because we get some really good tools. Sometimes we do have issues, and every company out there, no questions asked, handles it.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen in a lot of industries.
Mhm.
This doesn't happen. There's a lot of companies that step up and say, just fix it. Just whatever.
Well, and I think you have to, because this is not a one and done type of environment, and so it's about the repeat business. And
Yes.
we've had literally customers that have ordered 50 and 60 and 70 times, and our website tracks that. And so I'll see, we have a guy here locally, David Cantwell, and it's probably not somebody that participates in social media, but if he doesn't order every week, I'm checking on him. What
Yeah.
is
Does he come pick them up?
No, he's ordering through the website, and we're shipping him about 50 miles down the road, and but it's every week, and that's great.
Mhm.
And that's what it takes. I mean,
Mhm.
there's not enough. There are not enough new people coming into this. It's you got to take care of your existing customers.
Yes.
So you got to take care of problems.
Yeah.
Do you have any old tools that still sell that are older tools?
Sure.
I'm picking your brain.
Yeah.
Something that's in the old catalog stuff that you still sell that is still a good seller.
Right. Yeah. So like that 12-piece rod set,
Mm-hmm.
that was something that Jerry had when we had taken over. He's got some hand tool sets that we still sell. I mean, I'm not going to lie; those things have been diminished over time, just because there are so many other things now that are out there. But those things still fix dents, and they have a loyal following.
Yeah.
We have some customers like, you know, every year they're going to buy this particular set, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just what they do in the spring of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, some of this stuff is 25 and 30 years old now.
Yeah. I mean, Shane still has the stainless rod with like the swoop handle.
Yes.
That was a full set that I had forever that I put in his truck because it's still great. It's a great set for a guy that, is just getting on the road and figuring it out.
Yeah.
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 Jesse says it's all about the branding.
Well, it's big. It is though.
Yeah, it is. And I think you have to be involved with social media in this business. For one, with the newer tools, it's easier to get them out there and push them.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
the good thing is I think like MTE and a lot of these shows, the Hail Expo, all these shows that were going on around and events, I think that really helped you guys. How do you feel about that?
Well, I agree, and I resisted somewhat
Mm-hmm.
going, and it was nothing against the shows or their promoters or whatever it may be. I kind of like staying home, and Maria is really one that instigated us going to these
Mm-hmm.
shows, and I think in part it was precipitated by her doing the social media and getting to know a lot of these guys and saying, "Man, I just want to meet these people,"
Yeah.
and to them or to her, these people were rock stars.
I know. The first one I went to, I was like, it's like seeing famous people.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
can't get their autograph. This is amazing. But it
Yeah.
was cool because I'd
Yeah.
seen them. I felt like I knew them and what was going on in their life. And it was so exciting. But yeah, just to see the new stuff out there and for John to see, yeah, we need to be doing this. I think he needed to see that.
Yeah.
And another part of that was when we went, we just showed up as, spectators, whatever. Yeah.
Just
No,
attendees.
just attendees.
MTE, and I can't remember the year, but maybe 2015 or 16.
And people
Yeah.
would recognize us. And I think that just kind of, John was like, you know, kind of surprised. I think it was kind of neat for him to see that and people, yeah, here's A1. And it was very exciting. I loved it and wanted to go back again and again. And I love it. I love all that stuff. So, yeah.
It's a good networking. You get to meet your customer that
Yeah.
spends money with you all the time and
Yeah.
speaks highly of your products. You know what I mean? It's
That's the best thing is meeting them, meeting the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it really is, and for some people that we've been dealing with now for 20 years,
Oh, yeah.
and then to actually put a face with that customer,
I loved
that is kind of a special thing.
it. Is. Yeah.
so, with A1 growing, how many employees do you guys have now?
We have 20.
20.
Yeah, and I mean, I know this sounds politically correct, but it's, and I've told some lies already tonight, but this is really the truth. We have super employees, and a lot of them have been there with us this whole ride. And I mean, we didn't start with that many, but the ones we started with, for the most part, are still there.
Yeah.
So we've got some 20-year people and some 17 and 18-year people, and a lot of them are 10-year plus. And there's just no way that we could do what we've done without the great help that we've had.
Yes.
It's all about the team. That's one thing I've learned.
Yeah.
It really is. And, I think Maria and I have kind of this relationship and skill set that is very different from one another. And yet, when you broaden that to the rest of our employees, we have some people that really do X, Y, and Z well, and others do A, B, and C well. And I mean, we do cross train on some of these things, but we, as a whole, the teamwork, as you said, yeah, is where it's at.
Yeah, you're only as strong as your team. You know, your worst thing is your weakest link.
Yeah.
Now, I can say one thing. I feel like the quality of tools that you guys are putting out today is a huge step. You know, you guys are doing the stand liner stuff, even the new Dent Reaper stuff.
Yeah, the Reaper rod's back there. I see
I
that.
mean, you guys are doing a really, really good job with the quality and it people have noticed, you know what I mean? People in the industry have really noticed the quality step, and you guys are doing a really good job.
Well, and I'll take the compliment and thank you. And one of the things that attributes to that is the guys don't let me actually touch any of the tools out in. But seriously, there are a lot of people, a lot of the companies today make quality stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're going to stay in this industry, you're going to
You're
have
gonna have
to
to step it up.
make quality stuff. And when I first came into the industry, there was some good stuff, there was some average stuff, and there was some really poor stuff. And it was pretty easy to distinguish yourself. And it seems to me today, if your stuff's not pretty good, you're not going to last very long at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I mean, even the stand liner stuff, you know, you guys have to, it's a tough process. You know, that's
It
not
is.
easy stuff to make.
It's not easy. It's a slower build.
Mhm.
You know, the price point on those tools is higher than some of the others, and it all comes back to just how long it takes to make them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spit and polish on those. So, you know, you go out and whatever the shop capacity is, 12 or 14 guys in the shop. Uh, Sometimes they could make 400 or 500 tools a day, uh, depending on what they are. And in stand liners, they may make 30 tools a
Yeah.
day. So
Now, are you guys seeing an issue with getting material with the whole COVID pandemic going on? Is there any dip in material to start building tools?
not really. I think things have been a little more challenging in that regard. The supply chain has been a little bit harder, but for the most part, no, we haven't had any issues of anything of our core product line. There may be a few things here and there that have fallen through, but for the most part, with the tools, no.
Now, how about, are you guys planning on any new handle designs? I know a lot of guys, some guys like the handles, some guys don't like the handles.
Yeah, well, we have been working on something for a very long time, and you know, our ratchet handle we have sold literally tens of thousands of,
Oh, yeah.
and the mechanism is really, I think, as good as what is out there in the industry. The ergonomic is not there, and so you see a lot of aftermarket attempts to try to address that. So we would like to do something that would allow. Yes, there you go. And they're great products.
Yeah.
And we're happy that they have built around that spline and hub that we provide. And so I'm glad those products are out there because it does offer the technicians an option. But we'd like to give them, you know, an option, you know, as well there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Look at that smile.
Yeah.
See, that's
My beard didn't.
so we're getting into this a little bit. Maria, you had an accident. What was that, last year?
Yes, last September.
And it was right at MT Vegas, right?
That's right.
So I don't know. I see one of the questions on here. Someone was asking about your accident. Do you want to get into that whole thing, how it happened, and
Yeah.
it's completely up to you.
Yeah. I just we have a swimming pool in our backyard and a hot tub, and it had been serviced, and I was just gonna get in there, and we don't have any rails, handles, anything like that. You just kind of open it up, step in. But that day it was too hot. It was scalding hot. But once I stepped down into it, I was just kind of already in that forward motion, and I just, I just fell. And so it was excruciatingly painful. And I was able to get myself out of that tub that day. And I was alone. And so it was quite an ordeal, just, getting myself, getting help, getting in a tub of cold water, waiting. Um, I mean, it was just awful. So, hot tubs can be dangerous. We're still trying to figure out exactly what went on. I mean, there's supposed to be a backup, and then there's a backup to the backup. And, um, you can't tell looking in there that it's any hotter. It's always looking hot and steamy and swirling. And yeah, it really messed me up. I mean, it burned 82% of my body. And then, I was intubated for about 9 days, and I'm still dealing with the voice issues from that and scar tissue. And, they had to I had to do skin grafts. And so I didn't have much skin that was left. So then they had to scrape skin off and make some skin grafts. And so then you're looking at about 90% of your body,
Mhm.
exposed to infection. And I guess John had a really rough go there for a while. Just
I wouldn't trade places with you. It was a very, very difficult time. And I guess Maria was inpatient in the burn center for about 22 days, and then in a inpatient rehab facility. And she's had maybe 4 or 5 different surgical procedures, and she's doing great. And this is a good time too, I think, to thank the industry, because we had so many people reach
yes,
out
Yeah.
in support, and just did things that touched us and still do.
it was.
And um, it's things that you cannot repay. And so the only thing I can really do is offer thank you to so many people that did that.
Yeah, it was a rough morning at MT that morning. You had a lot of the women that know you were really upset, and people. It was just a very interesting morning. Everybody was kind of worried,
Mm-hmm.
but the good thing was it was nice to see the community kind of group together and put stuff together and try to get some stuff to you guys, some gift cards and some other stuff. So it was nice how fast everybody worked together to try to step in. And that's one thing I say all the time too, is we're lucky in this community because there's a lot of businesses that don't have that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of industries that don't pull together to work as one when you have some terrible things that happen. It's just really, we're very lucky.
We are, and this industry, the size of this industry, maybe it lends itself. Everybody kind of knows everybody. There's some accountability.
Mm-hmm.
There's some great friendships, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, I almost feel a little guilty that I have not been as good a friend to the industry as what they were to us. And so again, I'm moved by it. I still am,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Well, I think it all comes around. You know what I mean? Like I said, you guys run the business like the family business, and people see that. People see, and you bring it personal. You know what I mean? And that's what I think. People want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with a corporation. They want to deal with you. And with Maria getting on Facebook every week, and I think that is huge. I yell at Mark Blem. I talk to Mark Blem all the time. I'm good friends with Mark, and
Yes.
I'm like, I haven't. What's going on? He's like, what are you talking about? I haven't been on Facebook. I'm like, you got to get on Facebook. You got to get out there. You know what I mean? You got to do this. This is part of the job, buddy. Like, you got to do this.
Mark is doing a great job
He
too.
is. He
He
is.
wears a lot of hats,
Yes.
and he does them really well. And uh, like I said, Mark worked for us for maybe 5 or 6 years, and man, innovative, as is Jerry and as is Mike, good
Mm-hmm.
workers too. But Mark is kind of unlimited in ability.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 So Danny missed the beginning. He's asking if John ever pushed dents before doing PDR tools, and no, he did not.
No, I didn't. And Jerry tried to give me some training there, and I think I frustrated him. And I keep thinking, hey, I've been around it. I talk to guys on the phone. I'm better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Then it's still not quite there.
Well, it makes your job easier too.
Well, it does. I mean, I think I understand the concepts very well as far as actually performing paintless dent repair. I don't think any of our listeners want to bring me their car to do that, but
Mm-hmm.
I've got it. I've got the concept, and I can do a little bit, but it's not great.
Hey, you got the idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm ready to take my training sometime. I keep saying one of these days I'm going to go missing for a couple of weeks and
Hey,
try some stuff out.
my wife told me when we were first closed down, and I was whacking my own cars and fixing dents because I take a week off from vacation. I come back and I really feel bad for the guy for the first dent that I fixed. I'm like, man, this guy, I'm charging him $300 for this dent, but I should really do it for free because it's not going to look good. And she goes, I can push a dent. I can handle this. I'm like, come on now, you're a scientist. You can't handle this. So it's her car, right? I've got her car out there, and I'm like, all right, and I whack it. And she's like, oh my gosh, you didn't have to hit it so hard. And I'm like, it's only this big. I mean, it's not that hard. Here's the tool, figure it out. And she stood out there for like 30 minutes and couldn't fix it. She goes, how do you see where the tip of the tool is, where the dent is? And I'm like, I just stick it right in there and push, and it just goes away. Ash, it's magic. I'm like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first got into the industry, and like I was saying, we'd go out on the road, and at that time it was so proprietary
Yeah.
what we were doing. A lot of guys wouldn't let you watch them work.
Yeah.
And there's some great stories for another show, perhaps, about that and the extent that guys would go to
Oh,
keep
yeah.
privacy. But
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, if they would have showed me everything that they were doing, I still wouldn't have got it. And
We
most
used to
people,
hide.
yeah,
We used to hide back in the day. I mean, I'm 19 years in, and we used to hide. And now you hear all the time, is it okay if I watch? I'm like, if you figure this out in the 10 minutes I'm fixing your dent, I'm hiring you right now.
right, yeah, yeah,
Well, it's very satisfying. I mean, for me personally, I enjoy watching the videos that people post up there and watching the repair and the before and after. I mean, it really is amazing. I mean, I just marvel. I mean, it's a skill set. I mean, it's just, and it seems like you have to be so detail oriented and a real
Yeah.
perfectionist in your heart just to keep after it. And I just have such admiration.
Neil said something last week, and it made total sense. And he's like, he felt like every single dent guy has art behind him, painting or drawing, or like Jesse did your logo, and
Yes.
you feel like we're all kind of a rare breed, I guess.
Mhm.
But it in my end, I enjoy the satisfaction of the customer.
mhm,
Yeah.
Same thing as you guys. You guys come out with a tool, it looks great, it performs. You get the same satisfaction. You're like, okay, we did something good, or you brought another tech on that
Mhm.
wanted to come up with something, and it works.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of craftsmen, Ryan, in this, and perfectionists, and we have some of that in our own shop. I look at kind of our lead toolmaker, Chris Presley, and he, yeah, he can do anything.
Mhm.
And part of that is it's just because he cares so much about the finished product. It's not
Yeah.
about how much he's making per hour. It's not about he's he's just not going to let a tool go out of his hand that doesn't meet,
I like that.
you know, the
Yeah.
quality standard that, yeah.
And that says something.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It really does. And I think too, like you were saying, I think a lot of the techs have that same thing, and they feed off of that customer's response and that gratification that
yeah,
they get
yeah.
from doing something it's really kind of magical. It really is.
I think the industry's changed a lot to where the size, we're now into the collision business.
Right.
Some of the stuff that these guys are fixing, it's crazy.
It is
Yeah.
crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see the evolve of the business. And even I tell people all the time, I said, they're like, I can't believe you guys can fix this. And I was like, the tools have evolved.
Yes.
That's part of the thing. You can only do what you can do with what you have,
Right.
but some of these tools just make the job easier.
Yeah. And it is crazy. I've seen some stuff repaired, and the only thing that I question is, did it make sense from a, could you have conventionally done it cheaper, less time, or whatever? But I don't know the answer usually to that, and it probably depends on the panel and what a replacement would cost and so forth. But I'm still amazed by the ability to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And on that end, I always tell everybody, they're like, wouldn't it have been cheaper to put a fender on it? It is, but it's done in 3 hours.
Yeah.
We're in the now. That's what the world is in
Yeah.
the now.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
with you guys growing as fast as you were growing, what do you expect? Like, what's next for A1? I know you guys you renovated your logo. You've got a lot of new techs coming out. Do you have any like a big new tools that are coming out in the next few months, or what's your? I was going to go after that. I mean,
Mhm.
Well, I tell you right now, we're trying to hold on. It has been really a crazy 3 months.
Yeah.
We saw a little bit of a slowdown about the middle of March and through April. And then these last 3 months have been the busiest that we've ever experienced by way of volume. And so it doesn't leave a lot of time for innovation. And we've got some ideas, but honest to goodness, right now, and we've been working overtime really
Mhm.
9 and 10 hour days with most of our workforce now for about 10 weeks, 12 weeks, just trying to keep up with what we've already said that we're going to keep up with.
riding that wave.
Riding that wave. And it's great. I mean, we love it. And we still got some ideas, like I said, and we're going to be releasing some stuff. I think the next few weeks, we'll see what John's got coming, maybe.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Rick's got some stuff coming too.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
And I see Ken has that new glue out.
Yeah.
Brazilian glue.
Man, that's been crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
It
I
really
haven't
is.
tried it. I haven't tried it yet, so I'll have to try
Well, I'd like to sell you some, but we're out.
it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
So are you still practicing law, John, or?
I'm still licensed, but I rarely do anything for money, and rarely do I really do any work. I did write a letter today uh, for a client, but it was actually somebody that I worked in the law office with that had retired a number of years ago. That we've kind of maintained a friendship, but I haven't seen a check from practicing law for probably a decade or more. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
My girls are getting older, and so I want to keep the criminal law aspect up.
hey, that's very smart. That's very smart. Certainly back there in the woods
Yes.
with the big spiders.
Yes.
The good thing is you have really sharp tools at the shop, so you're
That's
fine.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sharp is the new.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Sharp.
Yeah.
That's all I use is a sharp,
Mhm.
The Reapers are definitely get used quite a bit. But nothing can touch the Chameleon. I think that's one of my favorite tools this
That's
past
awesome.
year. So,
Yeah. That's
well, I appreciate you guys coming on. Anything else you guys want to go over?
No, Ryan, thanks for having us. And I don't listen to a lot of podcasts within the industry and so forth, but I really appreciate anybody that is helping move the PDR industry forward like you are, and
Mhm.
helping bring people together. And it's beneficial uh, to the industry to have people like you in it and doing what you're doing. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
it's nice to see all the different shows, all the different everybody. It's kind of like you have Oprah, you have Regis, you have, all these different guys that are out there and different personalities. But when I first started in this industry, we didn't have any of this stuff.
Mm-mm.
I said the young guys are so lucky for one, tool innovation,
Yes.
Mhm,
for
Yep.
two, all the information that's given out every day.
Yes.
mhm.
All the
Um,
time.
it,
And in the dent groups, I mean, everyone just willingly, so willing to help.
yeah,
I think that's awesome. We do have an interesting industry for that. But
we're very,
I enjoy all the podcasts, and I like what you're doing too, Ryan. It's
it's been
great stuff.
fun.
And
It's been
yeah,
fun. A lot of guys enjoy it, and that's why I do it. It's an hour. It's an hour out of my day. That's how I look at it.
yeah,
So, but I appreciate what you guys do. You do a really good job. Like I said, you keep that family business end of it, and you do it really well. And you guys do a really good job on the tools.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Keep up your Tuesday thing,
Oh,
Maria,
thank
because
you.
a lot of guys enjoy it. Even Shane the other day was like, "Hey, Maria's on while I was working."
Oh, I love
So
it.
it's
Thank you.
people like the consistency.
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
it helps with you guys showing the newer stuff that's out.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I think that's the best way to get the word out. I try to keep it short and simple, and yeah. So thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And all you guys watching, keep it real. I will see you next week. Make sure you wash your hands and enjoy your evening. See you guys.